Good morning, Women's Sports House Day 2. Round of applause. Day 2 can. You all made it. We cannot be more excited for this next conversation, especially coming after a huge day yesterday. One of the big themes was that we were talking to athletes about the businesses that they're building, and we kept asking them, how are you balancing being an athlete, building a brand, building a business, and also in some cases being a student? And one thing that struck me was a lot of them don't have the best answer. And so that's why I wanted to make sure we had this conversation around finding time for mental health, for wellness, and for meditation. So we are so excited to be joined by the foremost expert in this topic, Dr. Deepak Chopra, who will come join us on stage. And he will be joined by Michelle Crossan-Matos, the Chief Marketing Officer of Ulta Beauty, as well as someone familiar to you all because we had her on stage yesterday, Jennifer Halloran, the CMO and Head of Marketing and Brand at MassMutual. Come on up. One of the most fun things at Cannes is that every Thursday morning, after all of the parties are up, we ask each other, "Oh, how are you feeling?" And everyone just says, "I want to take a nap and relax." And I think that also speaks not just to how big and fun Cannes is, but also to corporate burnout. Dr. Chopra, you work with a lot of corporations to try to help them with these types of problems, managing stress, managing corporate burnout. What is the biggest takeaway or some of the big trends that you see when you talk to companies about where they're going wrong in this journey?
Well, according to good science, corporate well-being, social well-being, physical well-being, which includes mental well-being also, because there's no difference between mind and body. So corporate well-being, social well-being, physical well-being, community well-being, and financial well-being go together. And you can measure this. So on a scale of 1 to 10, if you can measure somebody's well-being in these 5 buckets, and I haven't spoken about spiritual well-being, if somebody scores 8, 9, or 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, they are thriving and they can move to flourishing and flow. If they are score 6, 7, they're struggling in some area, not getting enough sleep, being stressed, marital problem, all kinds of things. And if they score less than 5, then they're suffering and they probably have a disease, even they don't know it. So well-being is measurable and it's the best predictor of your future. Are you struggling? Are you adapting? Are you thriving? Are you flourishing? Are you in flow? Or actually, are you awake? That's the progression.
And so how do you actually measure that? How do you assign that numerical score to these different types of well-being?
It's very complicated questionnaires, and people, of course, have to answer them. And then you use AI to correlate everything else. And we've actually created that ourselves. We call it the index, well-being index. And at this moment, it's being ratified by scientists in Harvard and other places. So as soon as it's validated, we'll release it to the world.
Jennifer, when you bring your company and your department together, do you have conversations around mental health and wellness? Is bringing someone in like Dr. Chopra something that you're thinking about?
Yeah, I think it's really important. We run pretty hard. I mean, everybody does every day, and we all talk about, I think, one of the most precious things that we all search for, which is time. And whether it's time together, time at home, or time, just extra time in our day to get our work done, and giving ourselves the opportunity to bring somebody in, like Dr. Chopra or anybody, to sort of give us a chance to get a break and step out of what we do and think about something that gives us the chance to really focus is important. So we do that often. We try to bring in once every quarter. We do a sort of all day or half a day. We just bring my leadership team in general, and we bring in someone that lets us talk about something that isn't focused on what we do every day, to give us a way to sort of like think about something not every day.
As a follow-up to that, what are the unique stresses that a marketing department faces and a marketing leader that people might not realize you're going through?
I think I'm sure most of you will hear this, will relate with this. I think one of the biggest things is that people within our own organization really don't get what we do, or really don't appreciate to some degree what we do. And I think, I attend a lot of industry, work sessions where it's like, oh, the CMO is fighting with the CFO. I don't necessarily do that so much where I am. I wish I did some days, because that would mean that they actually are focusing on and get what we do. And it's funny because we are communicators, we are storytellers. We know how to tell the world what the company does, but I can't figure out how to really, ultimately at the end of the day, convince the people in my own board and leadership team to remind them what we do every day. Because we're not, financial services, we're all numbers. It's just a different world that we focus on. We sell through advisor distribution. We're not direct to consumer. We're not retail. It's just not what they think of every day. So I spend a lot of time just reminding them, when I go into the board, they're like, give it to us 101. Make it simple. And I want to explain to them, like, no, it's connected TV, and we're doing all this really amazing. They're like, break it down, make it really simple. And it's hard to really, want to tell them these amazing things that we're doing, and innovation, and AI, and all these. And they're like, no, just break it simple. So
Michelle, I'm sorry. Michelle, do you think validation is an issue for marketing departments? Do you face that at Ulta?
Well, thank you for the question. Good morning, everyone. So, just FYI, I'm Scottish. There's no subtitles in real life. I'll take it slow. So, it's funny how you talk about there being a challenge there. See, I have quite the opposite. My boss was the former CMO. So, he knows what we do. He knows the pressure. In fact, actually, he raises the bar and expects even more of the marketing department. So I no longer just oversee marketing, I oversee e-commerce too, which is a very substantial business because we're the largest specialty beauty retailer in the US. So it's a big business. So thank you very much, boss. So every day, every minute, every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every fiscal, we're responsible for sales, as well as building a community, as well as building our beautiful brand, as well as celebrating the 600 founders that come through our doors, and we want to help amplify their brand. So I would say it's the greatest challenge, but isn't it the most wonderful challenge?
That's a very optimistic take. Is there something that you're doing to keep your mental health feeling so high and robust that is your outlook?
Well, I do intentionally work on it. There's a lot of intention. So and that's because many years ago, I realized I was not learning at the pace I had to learn if I wanted to become the leader that I want to become. And so I intentionally changed my morning routine. And I get up ridiculously early. Sometimes it's 4:30, 5 latest during the week. And it's reading, meditating, journaling, but being very intentional as a student of Stoic philosophy, anything that there's deep wisdom. Because I realize now the vibration of energy, it all is starting in the morning. Before my babies wake up, before my dogs start to bark, before my husband asks for a coffee, I've done my work. I'm 2 hours in before most people are in. And that gives me this ability to be more optimistic. And any challenge that comes my way, remember, I've had 2 hours on it. I've had 2 hours. So if there was one thing you could do tomorrow for your well-being, is just wake up early and have a moment with yourself.
You sound like the founders of my company. I do not know how you do that at 4:30 a.m. Dr. Chopra, do you agree that winning the morning is a good way to reduce stress and mental health, or do you think that everyone should be doing a different schedule based off of what their bodies and their lives require?
Morning is the best time, but if